Hi everyone and welcome back to Girls with ADHD. No, that was the wrong title. Let's start again. Hey everyone, welcome back to Girls That ADHD.
Hello.
Hi. In case you've forgotten, I'm Anushka.
And I'm Sayaka.
And we have ADHD. We're also practitioners.
Yeah.
And this podcast is hopefully your one-stop shop about all things to do with ADHD. It's a bit unhinged.
But we made it to season 2. So this is season 2 for those who are just tuning in. We've got some great feedback from season 1, and some of you have asked some questions, which hopefully we can get through this season. But yeah, keep sending in those questions, and we will try and answer them as we keep going, because there are so many topics.
It is endless. But today we're starting off the year in the end of February.
Yes.
With goal setting.
Because I don't know about you, but I was super charged with dopamine at the beginning of the year, and then it's already Feb, and the dopamine has gone.
Yeah, I was consistent for about 4 weeks, and then it just dropped off.
Yeah, I just never started, but here we are. So hopefully, not hopefully, I'm pretty sure all of you are on the same page as well. But it's not too late. We can still make it. It's still near the beginning of the year, and hopefully this helps you figure out how to set proper goals, not just for this year, but for life.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can really start anytime. Yeah. It's not really new year, new me situation, is it?
No. You
can really just have, the year can start in March if you wanted to. It's okay.
It's so fine.
But yeah, goal setting. How do you goal set? Because it's harder for people with ADHD, right? I would say.
It is, but I feel like recently I've learned how to set goals in a way that doesn't overwhelm me, but actually helps me get to where I want to be somewhat.
Okay.
Somewhat.
Talk to me. What are you doing? Share your secrets.
Okay. To make it easier, I'll try and break it down year-wise.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So let's start with there. So say if I usually goal set either at the beginning of the year or during my birthday, because those two dates just make sense to me.
That's fair. They're good times for reflection as well, right?
Yeah. So that's how I usually do it. And then I know exactly what I want to do over the years.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it took me many, many years to figure out how many goals is too many goals.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the main thing that would set me back for goal setting is getting too overwhelmed, because I would set way too many goals.
But the setting too many goals is this whole concept of I feel like I can do it. So when our dopamine levels are high, we are so capable of getting everything done.
Yeah.
You and I have been we've fallen into this trap in the past. We're we can do everything. And we announce everything. Yes. And then we're we can't do everything because you have such finite resources.
Yes.
And I think that stands true of everybody. Yeah. But I think we get a little bit more excited about the potential of almost overestimating how many goals to have in place and the timelines of those goals.
Yeah. Timelines, but also we just kind of want to do everything
at the same time.
Yeah.
All at once.
Yeah.
It should all be happening.
Yeah, because we can't choose. So I think the first step for my goal setting journey was figuring out how to accept that I can only do so much.
Right.
In a year, in a week, in a day, in a month. So I don't know why I said it like that. But
what I'm hearing is step 1 is acceptance.
Acceptance. Yeah.
Step 1.
Yes.
Wow, we're going through the cycle of grief. Okay. Step 2. Denial.
Yeah. So the logistical part of how I set goals is, first I know how much I want to do in a year.
Yep.
And then I break that down by how much I can get done in a month.
Yep, I like that.
And then I break that down by how much I can get done in a week.
Yep.
And then I break that down into how much I can do in a day, in a week.
Nice.
So it's very neurotic. Okay. There's a lot of
it's multi-step.
It's a lot of multi-steps, but it helps me break it down that way, because then it makes it seem more achievable.
And it's not as overwhelming as to looking at this one big thing that you have to get done. It's this week I just have to get this thing done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if I don't do it that week, then it just goes on to the next week. And it's
not
fine.
The end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, because I'm still kind of chugging along in figuring out what my goals are and getting there.
Yeah.
And then I can also move it to the next month
Yeah.
And then that's kind of like how I figured out what was actually possible in a year.
Yeah. And then testing your limits.
Yeah.
Do you also reflect at the end of the month and go like, why didn't I get certain things done?
Yeah. So I do like a monthly review, but then I also do like a quarterly review. So the quarterly ones are important because for me it's like, okay, I actually got this much done in a quarter. Logically there are 3 more quarters left. So that makes me understand how many goals are actually possible this year. And then versus, okay, this is actually too much and maybe this is a next year.
It's like a 3-month trial.
Yeah. 3-month trial. And then I think the main thing is if I don't reach them, rather than going into a pit of hole of despair where I'm just like,
shame.
I suck, I can't do anything. It's just like, oh, I just planned way too many things.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Which is good. It helps with that shame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yes.
I'm neurotic too when it comes to goal setting, especially in like the last year. So this is something that I've been doing for years. At the end of every year, I sit down and I write down categories. So I'll write down physical health, mental health, relationships, work, like hobbies, and there's like another one and I've forgotten what it is now. And then I'll write these down into separate pages, and then I write down all of the things that I did well in that year for those things, and what got neglected, and then what needs to be done to improve the neglect the year after. So for example, if I haven't seen my friends enough, what do I need to do? What course correction can I take? And so that helps me to determine what I actually need to do for the year after. What I've started doing this year is I've made a list of those then separate goals. So for example, if it's see your friends a little bit more or interact with people or socialize or whatever, I've split that up. So it's like, how will I do that? So for example, what is within my capacity? So like call a friend once a week, schedule in like 2 catch-ups in a month. And so I've listed all of those things, because the worst thing I find is like I get to the end of the year and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't try hard enough, I didn't do enough. Whereas if I have it laid out, everything that I can do, everything that's within my control, if I look back and I'm like, yeah, I did all of these things and I still didn't achieve my goals or the outcomes weren't what I expected, I'm okay with it.
Exactly. And so you're being specific.
I mean, very, very specific. I've even taken it a step further than that, because one thing is goal setting and being very excited about goal setting. But then I was like, how do I actually do stuff? You know, like that's like, how do I do it? Like if I want to get fit, and my goal this year is to lose some weight and like get a bit stronger. And I know that to do that, I have to go to the gym 4 times a week or something, or like do some kind of movement. How do I make that happen? You know? And so I got really fun with it, because I was like, okay, well, no, ADHD need novelty. And now I do bingo cards. So I made a bingo card for the whole year. And then I've made one for each month, and I review at the end of each month. Again, similar to you, like why I didn't get something done. But I've started off small. So for example, if my goal is eventually to like have gone to the gym at least 3 times in a week, I've started off in January with like, go to the gym 1 time a week. And what I do on my little bingo card is I will do the little asterisks until I hit 4, and then I get to cross it off. And I cannot tell you how many times, like last month, I meditated purely because I was like, if I don't meditate in like 2 weeks time, I can't cross off that box and I won't get bingo. And there is no, like, I haven't given myself any incentive. You can, if you really want to give yourself incentive, do it. I just take a lot of pride and joy going to my boyfriend and me like, I hit bingo this week. I have walked in nature. I have gone to the gym 4 times. I listen to music every day. I've met 2 of my friends. I spend time with my family, and it's a small little bingo card. I'm happy to put it up on our resources, but it's keeping things fun, because I'm competitive, and it doesn't matter whether if it's with other people or myself. So that's keeping me motivated to get my shit done.
That's interesting. Because I would love to be the person who like has a bingo card and like sticks it up. And I tried it, but then it's just too many steps putting the stuff on the bingo card. So for me, all I do is literally write a list. It's just lists on this notebook.
Cross it out,
and that's what works for me. That's what's easy for me. But I think I like how, because what I also do is I have like only 2 to 3 main priorities for the year. Before I used to have like 10.
Oh my god! And it's like, I need to do this, and all of these big things all at once. But
it just didn't work for me.
No.
So figure out what number works for your brain.
Yeah.
For me, it's 2 or 3 main ones. And then I have like a nice to have.
Yeah.
So even if I don't get to those by the end of the year, I'm like, you know what? It's fine because I did the main ones.
I like the concept of a nice to have because it's like, this would be great if I did it, but it's not the end of the world if I don't do it this year. And sometimes your goals aren't like as physically tangible, right?
Yes.
Like you might be wanting to get closer with your friends or your family or like rebuild relationships or whatever it is. And sometimes there are things that it's like, there's only so much you can do about those things. Yeah. And like, how do you measure it? And being reasonable about the way that you measure it.
Yeah. And some things work for me when they're specific, but other things work better when they're vague. Like, for example, this year, so I moved to a new state. So I'm pretty much starting again somewhat. Great. Novelty, but also overwhelmed. So this year, my 3 priorities was getting business off the ground and making it financially stable. Yeah. Working on my health and just being fit and hot. And the third one is getting back into music and actually just being confident in my musical abilities.
I love that.
And then the nice to haves are like building community. I mean, it should be more up there, but like, it's fine.
It's fine.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
There's only so much energy people have in a day anyway. Like in a year.
Yeah, exactly. So with those 3 priorities, business is more specific because it's like every month I'm trying to hit a certain goal and a certain number. So I'm like, whatever gets me there. And there's a lot of like subcategories for that. So yeah, the priority is business, very broad, but there are many, many steps to that. And then things like fitness and music, I found that when I'm too specific with that, it doesn't work because it puts too much pressure on it, and then I just get overwhelmed and get stuck and then don't do anything.
Yeah, what you mean.
So for fitness, what helps for me is just adding movement every day.
Yeah.
So whatever that means, starting off with that, and then once that was settled in like the first few months, now I'm starting to be like, okay, go to the gym 2-3 times a week.
I totally agree with this build up because I think on my bingo cards, I've kept it vague in the sense of like, do some movement, and then in brackets it's like gym or dance or, and then there's like, you know, because it's like, it's nice if I make it to the gym, but if I don't want to be beating myself up because we are notorious again, right, for going, I didn't do this thing today. I'm a failure. I'll never do it again.
Absolutely not. And then I think the main, I guess, pattern I'm seeing with the both of us is we're trying to keep the goals
realistic,
but in a way that helps us tick it off.
Yes.
So that we get the dopamine boost to keep going.
Well, that's it. And it's better to tick off small goals than to try and tick off one big one. Because if I can't see immediate results, I'm not going to do it. But like with some things, like, you know, for example, if I want to get like more toned up at the gym or something, I'm not going to see that straight away. So I need smaller things to be like, this is getting me. I did this thing today and that was enough. You know? Yeah. Baby steps, guys. Baby steps. And look, what works for me, what works for Sayaka might not work for you. And there's so many different things that you can do. You can use modifications of what we do. You can also moderate it. It's fine.
You can moderate it.
But there's a lot of options out there, I think. And I think sometimes we get stuck in like, we need to do things the way that other people do it. And no, it's even like what we were talking about. You change the way you goal set, you change the way that you do things from time to time, and that's okay. Yeah.
And I want to remind you, it took me I'm 28 now. And I've been trying to figure out what kind of goal setting works for me since high school.
Yep. Oh yeah. And I've changed my strategy so many times.
And I've only figured it out, I'd say, in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So part of the goal setting is actually giving yourself time to do the trial and error, not shaming yourself for it if you don't figure it out. But like, once you figure it out, you're set.
Yeah. And it'll be fine and you will work through it. And then you know what? That might work for you for a year.
Yes.
2 years,
and then
3
you have to
years,
change it again.
and then you have to change again. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's fine because we're adaptable, if not anything else.
Exactly. Just keep going.
Just keep swimming.
I think being consistent enough is the goal.
That's true.
Not consistent, but consistent enough.
Yeah, but also like redefine consistency to yourself. You know, consistent is going to like, I keep using the gym as an example because it's in my head. Okay, consistent is you read one page of your book every week. That's still consistency. Yeah. Consistent is you catch up with a friend once a month. Yes. Still consistency.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like on the dot.
Exactly. And consistency looks very different for neurodivergent people than it does for neurotypical people.
Correct.
Like, you're not going to do the same thing every day. Also, if you're someone who has their period, your motivation is going to change throughout the month. Like,
and accounting for that, right? Accounting for the fact that you are going to go through lows and highs. And during your highs, you might be able to do everything on your list.
Yes.
And then, like, the week after, you're going to go through a low period and you won't get anything done. And that's fine.
Yes.
Just go with it.
And schedule rest.
Yes.
Rest.
Yes.
Yes.
Rest should be a goal for everybody.
Yes.
If you have ADHD, rest should be on your priority list.
Yeah. And if you're like, I don't have time to put in rest into my calendar, then it means you have planned too much.
Yes.
And you need to calm down.
Correct. Take a chill pill. I think that's goal setting for the year.
Yeah, goal setting for the year.
If you guys have any questions about it, though, like, DM us. We're happy to help. Or come see us. We do sessions around goal setting and keeping you on track. Because, well, we're therapists and we can do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, if you want a workshop, so down for that.
Oh my god, yes.
Let's do it.
I'm keen.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Thanks for coming to our first episode of season 2.
Yay. I hope you liked it. Remember to leave us a review because that helps. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
As usual, our disclaimer at the end of each episode: Girls That ADHD does not provide personalized ADHD management advice for your individual needs. Although we are mental health care practitioners, Girls That ADHD is not a substitution for therapy or counseling of any kind. Girls That ADHD exists for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon to make decisions about your mental health, well-being, and ADHD management. Advice and conversations from Girls That ADHD are general in nature and do not consider individual circumstances. Always do your research and please seek out guidance from your mental health care team or ADHD coach as required. Okay then, till next time, bye!